Hi guys, so today we're having a look at these teeny weeny baby brushes from Primark. I have no idea what this guy done to be the odd one out and have a orangey red bottom. But we have a foundation brush, slightly oddly shaped, which is basically these are £2 each, right? So the foundation brush, the powder brush, and the eye set. So I got ready using these today, done as much of my makeup as possible with these guys. I say that, I actually didn't use any other brushes unless you count a mascara wand. So stay tuned to see how that goes. If you've been around my channel for a while, you'll know that I love miniature things. So obviously when I saw these, I was just like, I want them, I need them. Don't need them, but want them. So let's see how that went. Right, so true first impression. Let's get them open. So I'm so certain my makeup is not going to look good today. Anyway, so we've got 3 little eye brushes. Fluffy shader, tiny blender, tiny angled brush. So we'll be starting with the fluffy shader one because I need to put my brow bone colour all over, which I think will take me a while with this. But let's see. They are nice and soft, which is good. Good start. I am managing to blend out if any kind of lines appear at the edge of my eye area. But I will say this doesn't feel natural to hold compared to my normal brushes, because it's just almost too short, so that you end up holding it like this instead, which is weird and not normal. Anyway, let's throw on a lid shade. I've just grabbed the Revolution Creative palette because it's pretty and I wanted to play with it. So I'm going to grab the yellow, which is called Trend Setter. We'll see how well this deposits that. So it does pick up quite a lot of colour, but I think that's because the bristles are quite loose. They spread out quite easily because they're long as well. So let's see. Okay. It's covered really well. There's not been an excess of fallout, so you know, that's fine. It is very loose for a shader brush. I kind of think I could use this as a blender brush, which is weird. But then I guess miniature things are for travel, multi-purpose is good for travel. So maybe that's what they were going for. That was me, I didn't tap my brush off. Right, so for the crease, we'll go in with this tiny little guy, and I'm going to go into Magic Trick, which is a deep blue in this palette. So I don't know why I'm doing blue and yellow. They're my school colours, like my primary school, which is really weird to then choose them for this, but it's what I felt like playing like. It's the colours that were just kind of calling out. Oh, I just made a mess, but it's not the brush's fault. So this is doing a nice job for placing the colour, but I think it's just too small to get a really good kind of blend. You know, because there's still quite a line there. Let's clean off the shader fluffy one and see how it does with getting rid of those edges. Yeah, this one kind of has to come in and do overtime here. So the wee crease one seems to do a nice job for placing colour, but not particularly for blending it out. It's just too small and dense. So that's a bit of a bummer. especially if you don't have anything to clean it on. But you'd have to be in a really weird situation to to not have anything to clean it on. So there we go. Yeah, so as long as you've got this guy handy to go in and blend out the edges, you can get a reasonably nice finish on the crease. And I'm just going to go back in and build up the colour a little bit with the other guy. Like so. Because I've done this eye too far out. I'm not loving it. See, I feel like this kind of weird shape here I wouldn't have ended up with my normal brushes, because I can just do my circular motion and it does everything in one go for me. Right, we've almost filled that gap in. Yay! And yes, watching me even out stuff is not exciting. Right, I am going to go and quickly put on primer and be right back. And we'll try the foundation brush, which I'll be honest is the one I'm really kind of nervous about. Right, so foundation time. Obviously I couldn't even get a feel of these brushes in the shop. Oh god, right, so this is tiny. It's really soft, but I don't know whether it's going to do a great job for blending foundation. One way to find out. Let's find out together. Just going in with the matte base from Makeup Revolution. Kind of wishing I'd chose something a little bit runnier, but let's see. So I think I'm going to end up sweeping a lot that way, or I will be forever doing my foundation with this. Okay, actually, it is blending out a lot better than I expected. It does just look a lot more like it would be a contour brush though, which, you know, they usually come in that kind of shape. I do feel like this would do better if it was just a tiny bit less flimsy. Like when I go like that, I feel like it's just kind of bending and not blending. That sounds good. But I mean, it's not bad. I've got a couple of little streaks here. I'll zoom you in so that you can see what kind of a finish I'm getting from this. Most of it actually looks okay. Ooh, hello focus. Stay with me, please. There we go. And yes, my skin's its usual awful self. I don't think this is ever going to be my first choice because it is taking a little bit longer than my normal favourite brushes. It is, the narrowness is quite nice around this area though. You know, for getting down past your brows and not ending up with it all in your hairline. I feel like it's going to be quite nice for doing under eye concealer as well, which I use the same brush for my foundation and concealer all the time, so that's what we're going to test this for too. But yeah, overall, so far, actually impressed with these. I went in with really quite low expectations. Sorry, I feel bad saying that, but it's the truth. So I'm just going to go in with my under eye corrector from NYX. So a bit more of a solid formulation again. Okay. Again, it's, you know, it's done the job, just a bit slower than normal. Quickly going to do concealer too. Again, this is the Revolution Matte Base concealer. It's struggling a little bit with that, because look, there's that little crease bit in there that's just not in a hurry to blend out. Whereas, you know, if I didn't have a brush and was just using a finger, I'm pretty sure I could do it faster. So the brush does look slightly nicer though, so you know, if you were in a bit more of a hurry, I guess maybe you could start with your finger and finish with the brush, just to speed things up a little bit. So I'm going to zoom out. Obviously I need to put some concealer on the rest of my face, and then the last brush that I picked up from this range is a powder brush, so we will set everything and see how that does. I'm interested to see how this is going to blend concealer kind of in this wee kind of corner, because I feel like that's going to be a bit more of a challenge for it. But so far, all the doubts I've had about this, it's kind of overcame them, if slowly. So maybe I should just have faith in my little friend. Because actually the narrowness is again helping it out here. It's fitting in quite nicely. I take it back. It's a little bit slower, but it's getting a really nice finish. And then just a bit down my nose, because I'm just really self-conscious about being red-nosed, and you know, I just feel the need to put concealer there every single time. Actually, I'm going to say, really impressive how that done the concealer on my nose. I have a problem with concealer not quite sticking to my nose. I think the fact that this brush is less firm kind of let the concealer stay there and not be disturbed as much as with a firmer brush, perhaps. So, powder brush. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a mean person with this, and I'm going to test it with this rice powder from, I think it was a Glossy Box, because rice powder can grip and look quite white, and you know, my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, which I love, I think just kind of always looks good, and you wouldn't really see it if it was like grabbing anywhere because of a brush. Whereas this guy, I've put it on before and seen a bit of a white cast, so if I can get enough of it out. Right, so as you can see, it is a pretty tiny brush. I almost could have used it to do my brow bone, interestingly. So I think I'm going to need to be really careful to not end up with too much powder on this guy at a time. So, and I feel like it's going to take me a while to do my whole face, because I do have oily skin, I need to set everywhere, not just, you know, T-zone or anything like that. So this would be quite a cute one to have in your bag for like touch-ups. So oily skin girls, you're probably with me that you carry powder foundation during the day because it blots the oil while adding coverage, which can wear off slightly when you have a big oily breakout going on. So this might be cute for that. Especially, you know, if you want to have a tiny handbag. But yeah, these are definitely, I think, more something for putting in your bag for like touch-ups than your main brushes. If they made that foundation brush with a longer handle, maybe slightly bigger brush head, I might be tempted. But other than that, no, they're a bit kind of basic, and they'll do the job if you put in the work. So, right. Kat Von D, aubergine. I was going to try and use the powder brush for like my blusher and things as well, but it's just too weird of a shape. It might do nice for contour though, so maybe I will go back and do that. The brow brush, or the angled brush I should say, which I am using for my brows, I like it, it's quite nice. I wouldn't pay £2 to get the set for just this brush though, that would be a bit weird. I think there's lots of decent angled brushes out there. But if you're, I don't know, like at a festival or a really long night out and it was really warm, right, and then you were worried about your brows staying put, you know, this would be a wee option for doing touch-ups if you use a pomade for your brow. So I have not done a very good job on that brow. That's not the brush's fault. Right, I'm going to try it for contour, bear with me. Right, still loving the Peru Clay eyeshadow from Body Shop as my contour colour. Pale Girls, check it out, it's really good. I feel like that's just kind of being a bit harder to blend out. I don't know whether I maybe missed that area when I was powdering, because it took me a while. Yeah, that contour does not match at all. Yeah, no. I mean, again, it does the job if you put the work in. So I don't really know what opinion I want to have of these guys. I wish I had a third category going on in my little system, because they do the job, right? Let's face it, they do the job. It's £2 for like this, or these, which is not a lot of money. The foundation brush, do you know what? It works. I quite like it. I might keep it in my bag for touching up if I carry concealer for when my coverage really wears away, or if my skin's been really oily and things have broken up a little bit. It's quite nice to blend it out. So maybe having a little guy like this would be nice for that. So yeah, maybe that would be good. It might be quite nice for doing highlight as well because it is quite narrow. In fact, it's dry enough to test that, I think, because it just doesn't seem to have absorbed the foundation. So how much highlight am I going to end up with if I use this guy? This is accidentally almost turned into a full face using tiny brushes. Yeah, it caught a nice area for that, I would say. It's not too much, so that's cool. Okay, so that would be nice for highlight if you felt like doing that on the go, or you really love your highlight and it would dies down during the day and you want to touch it up. That would be a nice wee brush for carrying for that specifically. The powder brush, other than as like a touch-up brush during the day, not loving it. And actually I've got a little mini kabuki which I like better for that. It, you know, just covers a bit more area at a time. But if you wanted a smaller one, I guess that's the candidate. The eye set, I'm not really on board with. I'm just not. I think these two have an identity crisis. Like the crease brush doesn't blend and the flat shader is really fluffy and does blend, which, you know, they've just got a bit of a split personality disorder. The angle brush, as I said, it's fine, but you're not going to pay £2 just to get this one brush because it's fine. And as much as I'm saying, you know, oh, they're small, they're portable, you can have it with you if you need to do touch-ups, I really don't see that many situations where you're touching up your brows. Perhaps if you use an angle brush for liner, which I don't, it might be good for having a touch-up for that, but I don't know, just there's nothing particularly wrong with these. Like, I managed to get my makeup on, my foundation, my contour, my highlight, my brows, my eyeshadow, they look fine. But I just kind of don't see the point. It's a lot easier and a lot less work with my kind of normal brushes, some of which I would say work out cheaper than some of these guys. And yeah, I don't get it. What situation are you in where you need your brushes to be like small, short? It's just weird. So I'm not categorising these, they're not getting a good buy or a good buy. If you guys have got any questions or any opinions on these, put them down below. I think I was just suckered in because they're miniature and I love miniature things. As I sit here and look at my miniature lip suede from NYX, I like miniature things, but brushes, I just think it's weird to get them really mini. So I will see you guys later, and yeah, as ever, questions, requests, put them down below, click the like button, all of that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.